There's a $3 fix hiding in plain sight. It doesn't just clean mold, it erases it. Roots, spores, colonies, all of it, gone. And it keeps it gone for months after a single use. Scientists tested it. It eliminated up to 99% of every common household mold species found inside residential buildings. And somehow, it never made it onto a single major product label. Not because it failed, because it worked too perfectly. You cannot charge $30 for something that costs pennies. You cannot build a repeat customer from something that actually solves the problem permanently. And you cannot build a billion-dollar industry around a solution that anyone can make in their kitchen in under 2 minutes. So instead, it got buried. And the industry built an empire on top of the grave. Welcome to Hidden Camping. This is where we pull back the curtain on what the outdoor and cleaning industries have spent decades making sure you never find out. If you are not subscribed yet, hit subscribe right now so you never miss what they tried to permanently erase. Right now, 45 million buildings across the United States have unhealthy mold levels growing inside their walls. That is not a rumor or an exaggeration. That number comes directly from a peer-reviewed study published in the journal Indoor Air in 2017 by researchers Mudarri and Fisk. The same study found that 21% of all asthma cases in America trace directly back to mold and dampness exposure inside residential homes. Not pollen, not pollution. The walls of the home people sleep in every single night. The CDC confirmed it. The World Health Organization confirmed it. Living inside a mold-affected building measurably increases your risk of developing respiratory disease. Those are their exact words. Documented. Published. And almost completely ignored by the industry selling you cleaning products every year. Because the real answer never needed a lab. It never needed a patent. It never needed a $40 bottle with a warning label. It was sitting in your kitchen the entire time. Go back with me to 1928. Alexander Fleming is working late inside a research lab at St. Mary's Hospital in London. He looks down at a petri dish and sees something that should not be possible. A patch of ordinary household mold has grown across the glass, but every bacterial colony surrounding it is completely dead. The mold had produced a compound that destroyed everything near it. Fleming called it penicillin. The world called it a revolution. But here is the part that never made it into the textbooks. Ordinary families had understood this principle for centuries before Fleming ever looked at that dish. They had no microscopes and no research grants, but they had something more powerful. 3 generations of direct observation passed from parent to child without interruption. They knew that certain acids attack the cellular wall of fungal organisms when applied at the right concentration. They knew that alkaline environments suffocate mold at the root level before it can anchor and spread. They knew that oxidation dismantles the molecular structure of airborne spores before they ever find a new surface to colonize. They knew all of this, and they used it constantly. Church records in Somerset, England from 1842 described washing damp stone walls with white vinegar and baking powder, not as an experiment, as standard household maintenance. Handwritten journals from rural Appalachia in the 1870s documented women combining white vinegar, water, and baking soda to clear mold from wooden beams and cellar walls permanently. The recipe moved from mother to daughter across generations at zero cost. It required nothing that could be sold, packaged, branded, or owned. And that is exactly why it had to disappear. If you have stayed with me this long, you already understand more about mold than most people will learn in a lifetime of buying orange bottles from a hardware store. Subscribe and share this with someone who needs to hear it. What the industry buried, we are digging back up together. By 1950, the American cleaning product industry had fully consolidated around synthetic chemistry. Bleach became the universal answer to everything. Corporations poured billions into shelf space, broadcast advertising, and regulatory lobbying. The message was simple, and it was everywhere. Only laboratory-grade chemicals are strong enough to protect your family. Your grandmother's methods are outdated, unreliable, and potentially dangerous. Trust the product on the label. Never question what is missing from it. 2 full generations grew up hearing this, and slowly the old knowledge stopped being passed on, not because it had stopped working, because it had stopped being taught. The industry did not need to destroy the information. They only needed to interrupt it once. So what exactly is inside this $3 formula that a $2 billion industry quietly walked away from? Start with white distilled vinegar, standard grocery store variety. It contains between 5 and 8% acetic acid. According to research compiled across multiple independent peer-reviewed studies, acetic acid penetrates directly into the hyphal structure of mold. That is the root network that allows mold to anchor itself to a surface and keep regenerating after surface cleaning. The acid disrupts the precise pH environment the fungus requires to survive. In controlled laboratory conditions, vinegar alone eliminated up to 82% of mold species tested, including black mold varieties. That data comes from documented environmental cleaning research published across independent home health and environmental science institutions. 82%. From a bottle that costs under $2 at any grocery store. Now, add baking soda. Sodium bicarbonate. Its pH sits between 8 and 9 on the alkaline scale. Nearly every mold species on Earth survives only in environments below pH 7. Inside the mildly acidic range, they need to colonize and spread. Baking soda shifts the surface chemistry into territory that is chemically hostile to fungal survival. It kills active colonies and leaves behind a protective residue that makes regrowth significantly harder for weeks and months after a single application. A 2017 study confirmed that sodium bicarbonate successfully inhibited mildew growth, even on organic agricultural surfaces exposed to outdoor conditions. One box costs about $1. Now here's where the science becomes something no major cleaning brand wants anywhere near a product label. Vinegar attacks the active mold through direct acid penetration. Baking soda simultaneously neutralizes the surface chemistry underneath, stripping away the conditions any surviving spore would need to establish a new colony. They attack the same problem from opposite directions at the same time. Combined, they do something that a $30 synthetic spray cannot reliably replicate on standard household surfaces. And they do it for under $3 in total material cost. Here is where the numbers stop being abstract. The global mold inhibitor and cleaning product market is valued at $2.2 billion in 2025. That figure comes from SNIN's insider market research published in February 2026, following comprehensive industry analysis. The companies operating inside that market include Clorox, Procter & Gamble, Reckitt, Hinkle, SC Johnson, and dozens of other corporations whose names appear on the bottles under every sink in America. Every one of them sells a mold and mildew product. Every one of those products is built around synthetic chemical compounds. Every one costs between $8 and $40 per bottle, and not one of them outperforms plain white vinegar on standard non-porous household surfaces in independent testing. You cannot patent vinegar. You cannot manufacture a proprietary version of baking soda. You cannot build a repeat purchase business model around a solution that works completely the first time and costs almost nothing. The entire financial structure of the cleaning product industry depends on selling branded chemistry that consumers believe only a corporation can safely produce. White vinegar and baking soda represent everything that model cannot survive. They are cheap, they are unpatentable, they are available in every store on Earth. And they work. That combination cannot be allowed to become common knowledge. So it was not. Here is exactly what you do with it right now. Take white distilled vinegar and pour it into a clean spray bottle undiluted. Do not water it down. Spray the affected surface completely until it is fully saturated and walk away for 1 full hour. During that hour, the acetic acid is doing the work, penetrating the mold structure, breaking down the cellular wall of every colony present on that surface, and working into the hyphal roots beneath. After the hour is up, scrub the surface thoroughly with a stiff brush. Rinse it clean with warm water. Then dry it as completely as possible. Next, dissolve a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda into a cup of clean water and spray that solution across the same surface. Do not rinse it off. Leave the residue exactly where it is. That alkaline film is now altering the surface pH in a way that makes fungal regrowth measurably harder for weeks after. One treatment. Under $3. No fumes. No toxic residue. Completely safe for children, pets, and every surface it contacts. A tent, a tarp, a canvas shelter, a wooden beam, a van wall, a cellar floor. The formula works identically everywhere mold finds moisture to grow. This knowledge did not fade because it stopped working. It was buried because effective and free cannot coexist with a $2 billion annual market. Your great-grandmother used this. Her mother used it before her. For 100 years it moved through families at zero cost and zero profit to anyone. Then 50 years of advertising convinced a single generation it was primitive. And that was enough. Now you know. Share it with someone who needs to. Every person who finds this is one less customer for an industry that never needed to exist. Hidden camping. We dig up what they buried. Subscribe so nothing gets lost again.